Hello, everybody. How's it going? Oh my goodness, it's me, your best buddy Basil. Wow. I can't even believe we're on. I can't even believe the show is happening today. Let's all just take a second, be grateful for that. We will certainly get into it during the show, but glad to see people are here. What do we got? We got Hokojo33 over on Rumble, Wolverine. Definitely not Furf over on the okay. All right. Oh, I see Gons is in the chat. That's great news. Irish Rose, all over on Rumble. Let's see here. I'm not getting any chat for YouTube, but I bet there's people there. I bet you're there, and I'm gonna refresh my thing to see if I can't see what you're saying, YouTube people. Okay. Well, nope. Oh, oops. Something went wrong. Try reloading the page. Okay, I'll try to do that. Okay, folks. What was this? Okay, we got a show. It's Monday. Oh man, is it Monday? It's Monday, not just sort of literally in the Gregorian calendar, but it's Monday spiritually. And if you believe in a sort of a spiritual biblical worldview like we do, you know that when something is spiritual, it doesn't just mean that it's psychological or it's in your feelings or in your emotions or something like that. Yeah, there's some real stuff going on around here, and so we are doing our best as always to not to fight or to conquer or to overwhelm the powers of the enemy, but to rest in the knowledge and the faith that we are not the ones responsible for fighting this battle. And indeed, the Lord is with us, and that is evident by the fact that we are on the show today. I wonder if we have any... Okay, yeah. Remember, folks, go to canarycrynewstalk.com, and you'll see a green tab on the bottom of the right-hand side. You click on that, you can leave us a voice message, ask questions, give shout-outs, do whatever, but you can also leave a pre-show prayer. It's spiritually producing the show. Everybody should do it at least once. It's a good time. And in fact, we even have one today.
Heavenly Father, help us wrestle our temptations this week. Thank you that you are our tag partner, always within reach. Remind us of your holy momentum when we feel depleted, when weariness gets the best of us. Replace that so-called strength we lived on before we knew you. In a complicated world where Jesus came to simplify the sinless blood, your will be done. Amen.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Crime News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is August 28th, 2023, and we are live to tape on episode 660. And today, Elite Makeover Takeover. And signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy Basil, and you are not crazy.
And my name is Gons, director of the Age of Deceit Films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Live to tape from California to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events and today's emergent phenomena. Gearmageddon in the fifth generation warfare context. My goodness.
Struck.
Yeah, we got hit today. Something happened.
We got hit hard. I don't know how they did it. I don't know how. Somehow they got my indoor bunny on the payroll over at Chill Inc. or controlled his mind with a microchip or something. But once in a while, folks, and we all have these days where Monday rolls around, and it is not just simply another Monday, but it is the sort of cosmic archetype of Monday, where the entire world is working against you, and you can do nothing but sit and pray and laugh if you're very talented. But yeah, big day today. I don't know when we want to actually talk about it. Are we doing
do it
it
in
now, or are we doing it later?
Let's
do
save
it later.
it. Yeah, we'll talk later.
Okay. Let's do that. Well, let me give you
Disclaimer.
a disclaimer, and then the thing that we do every single show. And my
It's
brain
time
is
for a disclaimer.
Now listen up.
YouTube.
That's right. And just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys. That's right, and here's your rundown.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
That's right. We're starting out. Gons is getting ready as we speak. He's cracking his knuckles. He's slicking back his hair because he has quite the journey to take us on down the rabbit hole, starting with some beast system updates. That's right. There is planned a massive emergency alert test that will be happening in the U.S., and I wonder what timing that lines up with. We'll be very curious to find out. Also, NASA sees a giant sunspot that could disrupt Earth's power grid this week. Remember sunspots? Remember solar flares? Remember, what a convenient excuse for some sort of cyber pandemic. And then we have the down low on yet another young billionaire who is ready to build a utopia. Just wonder where is he going to do that? Gons will tell us all about it here at the top of the show. Then we'll be checking in with FLIPPY, your favorite disembodied robotic arm. And it's about time FLIPPY starts to act a little bit more human, as long as he can get the job done. And then we'll see how it goes. But we also have some things to talk about when it comes to BRICS. BRICS, that's right. Did they create a new currency? Will they topple the unipolar, necro-capitalist American empire all by themselves? I don't know. Somebody should ask Prigozhin. We'll do that as well. And I think that's probably it. It's going to be a good time, Gons.
That's good.
But yeah, so let's start out with our lead stories.
Speaking of the beast system, beast system.
Okay, man, where to start? Feels like I've been running around for 20 hours for the show to get started. And by the way, for those of you watching, no hat today. That's how crazy today's been. I don't even have a hat on.
Crazy.
I know, letting the hair just live. But,
you don't have a hat, and
you don't have a face
not on camera. Yeah,
you don't have a face. Well, you don't.
Thank you.
Have a face anyway. Normally.
Thank you to Sir Dove for this beautiful Basil art.
Yes.
Which is myself as a Canary man, as Garth or Wayne. Garth. Yeah. Okay.
Garth.
Give us the news, guys.
The news coming from USA Today. Massive emergency alert test will sound alarms on U.S. cell phones, TVs, and radios in October. Talk about an October surprise setup, a prep for such a thing.
Has this happened before where they tell us a month in advance that they're going to test the alert system?
I don't know about the alert system specifically, but I know they've had stuff like this. But
well, let's be specific. They're talking about the alert system. We've seen this. You get the tests on your phone. It goes, there's the Amber
buzzes.
Alert, there's the thing. It's the whole system where it used to be where it just would play on television on every channel. But of course, now in the days of smartphones, you can send out a message to every single smartphone.
Yeah.
And I don't remember ever getting forewarning, hey, in 2 months, we're going to go ahead and just test this thing for you. So surely everybody will remember that.
Everybody prepare. You have a couple months to prepare for the test. You see.
Yeah. Well, and as we all know, and as Daniel in the chat is reminding us, there's always tests right before the PSYOP.
Yeah.
Some might even say the test itself is a psyop.
There's
or
always
part of
a
one.
drill of the exact same nature going on around the corner. You know, it's always just happening down the street.
I mean,
Okay.
Event 201
Yeah.
leading up to to 2020. You've got all that Jade Helm stuff.
Jade
You've
Helm,
got,
that was a big one.
A lot of these, SWAT team trainings happening just like a block away from some disaster that just happens to need a SWAT team who is trained in that particular thing. But okay,
right there. It's like a movie. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the article says. This is a test. This is only a test, but it's going to be one very big test. On Wednesday, October 4th, 10/4, at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Pay attention to the 2-2. Just letting people know, for those of you that track these types of patterns in the episode, at the very least. I mean, out there for sure, but just in the episode, 2-2 popping up a few times here today. Every TV, radio, and cell phone in the United States should blare out the distinctive, jarring electronic warning tone of an emergency alert accompanied by a notice along these lines. Quote, "This is a national test of the emergency alert system issued by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, covering the United States from 1420 to 1450 hours Eastern Time. This is only a test. No action is required by the public." End quote. Then it goes into, what to know, yada, yada, yada. It's a bunch of stuff about, be scared. But remember, it's just a test. Don't worry. It's not a big deal. It's the same thing you see when something, there's one of those, I forget what they're called, when there's like a missing child or something.
Amber Alert.
Amber Alert. Thank you. Yeah, that pops up, fairly often. So not the most crazy thing to consider. But yeah, I think in terms of a national test, that might be the biggest one, and maybe that's why they're telling us, because it is a huge one. But also,
wasn't there some sort of mix up with this emergency alert system in Maui as well? I know that they
So they talk
didn't
about
do
that.
the sirens. Oh, okay, they talk.
Yeah,
about
they mentioned that as well, not the sirens specifically per se, but they use Maui as the blueprint. And we often see this anytime there's a crisis or some event. COVID was a prime example. Anytime something happens, it's used as because of that, we have to do this. And it's like usually pretty, totalitarian and all that. But here's what it says. In the wake of the horrific fires on the island of Maui on August 8th, when warning sirens that might have alerted people to the danger weren't deployed, it's a reminder of what systems are in place should they be needed. So there you go. You have your justification for this kind of thing moving forward. And I mean, it was a matter of time. It doesn't, I don't know, maybe because we've been looking at stuff like this for years, it's kind of like, yeah, it's about time they do like a full board, test everyone's phones thing. And I was actually thinking about that in the context of the Trump thing and the PSYOP thing and everything. When the mugshot happened last week, everybody was talking about the mugshot, including us. We were talking about it. And
Good mugshot.
Yeah. It occurred to me that for some reason, I had this visual of the movie Nemo, like the Disney movie. And those birds, I forget what they were. Were they like, I can't remember. The seagulls. Yeah. They say mine. I pictured that, except them, saying Trump, Trump, Trump. And all of us doing it, like Trump, just across the internet on our devices. And it was just
effective.
Man, we are just such lemmings, like in terms of even in the alt world, specifically to see it in the rise of the alt world. But
the PSYOP is strong. They know how to get our attention.
And in that context, an emergency alert that, of course, this is supposed to be a test. Don't worry, you don't have to do anything. But what if, and what will people do if they receive one that says, hey, whatever it is, flash floods coming your way, 20 minutes, get out. Or earthquake detected or something. You know what I mean? Like people are going to act crazy.
Hawaii is another good example of this because there was the emergency alert system about a missile coming in.
Right.
Remember that? It was a couple of years ago. They sent out I think somebody like slipped and hit the button or something.
Yes,
allegedly.
Yeah.
But they sent out the alert that missiles were heading towards Hawaii. And, that's what I mean. It's like you say, using Hawaii as the sort of test subject for this very specific kind of emergency alert system. We saw the weird missile thing, and then later on, either a failure or a what's the word, negligent, use of it or non-use of it. And once you get a couple tests in there on your little test island, you can go ahead and start activating. I mean, it is almost by definition a psyop, their ability to send out an emergency message that you're already primed to respond to. And some of us are primed to question whether it is
that's the other
a real
thing.
one or it's not a real one.
Right. And if you see your neighbor doing something, you know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do? You got some decisions to make. So, yes. But this is one last part here from this article. Will there be warnings about the test? Expect a tidal wave of news stories and warnings leading up to the test to avoid panic. FEMA and the FCC are coordinating with wireless providers, television and radio broadcasters, emergency managers, and others to get the word out. The goal is to minimize confusion and maximize the public safety value of the test. Have you ever felt like more of a being in a petri dish than reading stuff like this? It's like, we want to mitigate the panic. We're measuring the panic ability, and we will use the news media to see how well it operates in calming the minds of the public as we unleash the psyop and tell everybody everything's fine while we replace the president with the clone or something, whatever it is they're doing.
Sure, why not?
So I don't know, man. This is just ripe for all kinds of speculation, which is endless. But yeah, that's not our point. Our point is that they're rolling it out. They're telling us, and why? Why would they do it? So that's one piece of the pie today here. Let's move on.
Space. Wanna go to space?
Because there is another threat looming. This one, I suppose, time-wise, can be a little bit sooner, but it all kind of dovetails into the same thing here. This is MSN mirroring Chron. Headline.
Real quick, just to mention, October being the time that the alleged TSA whistleblower was saying that they were going to move back into
COVID
mask wearing. Yeah, maybe not full lockdowns, but it's something significant.
Right. That was the Alex Jones report from the TSA whistleblower. Yeah. And the October surprise, perfect timing. Okay, so this is NASA sees giant sunspot that could disrupt Earth's grids this week. This week, Basil. We don't have to wait till October. NASA scientists recently spotted a massive sunspot on the surface of the sun, which could magical spell, some problems for Earth this week as it continues to expand and face our planet. NASA's Perseverance Mars rover, which is mainly designed to explore the surface of the red planet and gather samples, captured images of the behemoth crossing the far side of the sun between August 17th and 20th. The rover, which photographs the sun daily with its Mastcam Z camera system to gauge the amount of dust present in the Martian atmosphere, was more than 152 million miles away from our closest star. Blah, 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 blah. Bottom line, they see some sunspots, and it could hit us because, quote, Mars is orbiting over the far side of the sun. Perseverance can see us approaching. Consider this your 1 week warning. A big sunspot is coming, says experts from spaceweather.com.
Have we ever actually seen these solar flares or sunspots actually have a big effect? Because we hear this at least once a year.
Well,
at least once a year, they talk about these sunspots and solar flares and watch out, things could shut down. But have we ever heard of, some actual big thing happening because of this?
So my brain bank is reminded of some, I think people often reference something that happened in like the early 1900s, maybe it was late 1800s, where obviously it was not as developed as now, but certain areas that had a sort of electrical grid type of thing went down and they blamed solar flares. So that's sort of what I remember. And for the most part, there is the question. I mean, if you kind of step into the heliocentric model of the cosmos and all that, there may be elite hidden technologies that are quote unquote protecting us from such things. And that's why they're able to use it as a fear thing. Because I've heard a lot about solar cycles, and this article even talks about it.
Or the whole thing's made up.
The whole thing's made up. Or that's what, yeah, of
like
course.
nukes. Or
the frequency and intensity of the dark blotches visible on the surface of the sun are indicative of the level of solar activity during its 11-year solar cycle. Some experts believe the sun will reach solar maximum, the peak of the solar cycle, by the end of the year, ahead of official predictions. So yeah, it peaks and then it valleys, and because the sun wasn't allegedly, the sun didn't do anything for a lot of years. Like most of the 2010s, it wasn't doing much. We didn't hear much about it. But yeah, it's always a convenient go-to if the electrical grids might go down this week. Well, what is to blame? Is it Klaus? No, the sun. Can't do much about that. Can't rebel against the sun.
Sure. Right.
know?
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Yeah. So it's just too convenient in terms of, I hope it doesn't happen. And maybe we just got hit with it, Basil, before the show.
I was going to say, today kind of felt like some sort of giant burning nuclear ball in the sky. Just really had it out for us.
Yeah. Which again, will make all the sense in the world once we get to that part where we tell you all what's going on. All right, let's continue moving forward. Is there anything else you want to say about this NASA thing and solar flares? Okay. Still a part of this conversation here.
Build back better. Build back better. Build back better. We will build Babylon better. This time, a new world order.
Of course, building back better is the goal here. This is from The Guardian headline: Silicon Valley elites revealed as buyers of $800 million of land to build Utopian city. Not very surprising, I would say. After weeks of local speculation, the purchasers of 55,000 acres of Northern California have been revealed. The group, Flannery Associates, backed by a cohort of Silicon Valley investors, has quietly purchased $800 million worth of agricultural and empty land, the New York Times has reported. Its goal is to build a utopian new town that will offer its thousands of residents reliable public transportation. That's automated vehicles probably, and systems where people don't own any cars. It's just a transportation system, and urban living, all of which would operate using clean energy. The project was spearheaded by Jan Sramek, a 36-year-old former trader for the investment banking firm Goldman Sachs, and is backed by prominent Silicon Valley investors, including Michael Moritz, a venture capitalist, Reid Hoffman, co-founder of LinkedIn, Lauren Powell Jobs, the founder of the philanthropic group Emerson Collective and wife of Steve Jobs, Mark Andreessen, an investor and software developer, Patrick and John Collison, the sibling co-founders of the payment processor Stripe, and the entrepreneurs Daniel Gross and Nat Friedman, the Times reported. That's a pretty high level.
That's quite the lineup.
Yeah, that's the lineup.
Yeah. It's like an all-star team.
Yeah. Though this is like the new governance structure here. What are they doing? They're creating a little nation of themselves. Though Flannery has been purchasing farmland and empty plots over the past 5 years, it has only recently started interacting with local officials and residents, according to the Times and local reports. And they talk about how much they purchased, where it's at, and all this kind of stuff. Oh, this was interesting. The land bought by the firm encircles Travis Air Force Base in Fairfield, a city of about 120,000 residents and home to the Anheuser-Busch Co. Brewery and the Jelly Belly Jelly Bean Factory. I thought that was interesting that it's so close to Anheuser-Busch. Don't you think that's strange with all the stuff that's been going on?
The Dylan Mulvaney. Is Dylan invited to
I don't
Utopia?
know. I don't know, but it just feels like it was an infiltration of some kind, a penetration of corporations, perhaps, or something to that nature. Proximity-wise, Recently, Flannery has been meeting with local officials and representatives, according to the Times, maybe like Anheuser-Busch. It has also been sending out opinion polls to local residents to gauge their feelings on an initiative that could appear on Solano County voters' ballots, according to the newspaper San Francisco Gate. Quote, this project could include a new city with tens of thousands of new homes, a large solar energy farm, orchards with over 1 million new trees, and over 10,000 acres of new parks and open space. A screenshot of the survey obtained by the newspaper reads. And it goes into some other stuff that we don't necessarily have to jump into. But they say, there's still some regulatory hurdles to jump. But, when you're a billionaire, when you're a young, strapping billionaire, 36 years old. You know, you got the world at your fingertips. What do you want to do there, little Jan? What would you like to become? And in fact, Jan Sramek, this individual who is leading this project, did just a quick little dive on him. And there is a Intelligencer article on the New York Magazine here from 2009, December 8th, 2009. Meet Jan Sramek, the 22-year-old Goldman Sachs trader in charge of millions. So he was 22 years old at the time of this article. And there's not a whole lot written about this guy, mostly just in the last 20 years or something, 15 years. Goldman Sachs is like the military. It gets people while they're young and malleable, breaks them and remakes them into the firm's own model. And it goes into some examples. Enter Jan Sramek, a 22-year-old Czech Republic-born, London-based trader for Goldman Sachs at an age when most people in finance are futzing with Excel spreadsheets and most other people his age are sitting around watching Days and taking bong hits. Sramek is entrusted to run millions of dollars in trades, and he's considered one of the 100 rising stars in finance, 40 under 40. Of course, he's 22 years old. And it says here, also, it should be mentioned, Sramek runs marathons, doesn't smoke or drink much alcohol, and wants to get married and have 6 kids. He counts mega hedgy Peter Thiel as a role model. Sramek isn't unaware of his Pinky and the Brain credentials. He's one of those geniuses who has no trouble admitting it. And talks about his Twitter account. And then it says his father, a mechanic, his mother's a school teacher, encouraged him to study at an early age. He comes from a small town of 1,000 people in Moravia. Sramek started his first company, a jobs site for IT professionals, at 13 years old. In 2003, he won a scholarship from George Soros's Open Society Foundation to Cambridge.
This guy sounds chosen.
100% chosen. Later, he transferred to the London School of Economics to focus on finance. Again, remember, this is 2009. Sramek would rather focus on his long-term goals, getting rich. He's already planning out his future in philanthropy. He told an interviewer he wants to focus on education, which would require him to amass a significant amount of wealth. Quote, I would like to once be in a position where I can do something about it and do it from a position of power, he said, adding that wealth was necessary, quote, to get the required leverage or to try to do things differently, end quote. 2009, folks. 2023. He wants to build a utopian city in Northern California. He's got 55,000 acres ready to go.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to ask where this was. Northern California.
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, maybe he's just waiting for San Francisco to go bankrupt and he'll bulldoze the whole thing.
This is kind of the thing that starts to make sense why certain parts of the country, and especially San Francisco, Oakland, that whole area is just out of control. And it's almost like they're letting it happen so that these guys can come in and be like, all right, enough is enough. Let's put in the infrastructure that's going to clean things up. And of course, that infrastructure will probably be very invasive. So it makes all the sense in the world. Now, there's another kind of fringy sort of speculative thing. I just want to have a little bit of fun here. We're talking about billionaires after all. Jan Sramek. I don't know how common of a name it is in Czech. Somebody who's familiar with the Czech people, fill us in. Is Jan Sramek, is that like John Smith in Czech? Is it a very common name? Because Jan Sramek is, or was, the prime minister of the Czechoslovak government in exile from July 21st, 1940 to 5th of April, 1945. He was the first chairman of the Czechoslovak People's Party and was a Monsignor to the Catholic Church. And I think he was pushed out. It says he was basically pushed out and replaced by communists. So kind of interesting, interesting fella in history. And, just when it comes to speculative things, a lot of the really weird stuff in the last 100 years, especially pertaining to ufology, aliens, ET, and culture, all that stuff, it all goes back to the 40s. It goes to World War II. It goes to post-World War rebuilding and what they were able to, all the New World Order stuff that happened throughout the 1900s leading up to 9/11 and all that that we've seen since came out of post-World War II reconstruction. So it's just weird when stuff comes out of the 40s and it's relevant. Not that this guy, so science fiction authors, here's where you can take real life and take it into science fiction. Jan Sramek, Czechoslovakian government in exile. He was trying to do something good for the Czechoslovak people in the 1940s, but he was pushed out by the commies, right? And he gets in touch with somebody in the world of technology. Some technocrat gets a hold of him and says, "Hey, look, I know it didn't work out in the 40s." Because remember, Technocracy Inc. came to or tried to rise to power in the 1920s, and they got rejected, basically. Everyone pushed them out. They're like, no, Technocracy. We can't have a crew of scientists and technologists running our policies. Politicians do the politics, scientists stick with your science. That was sort of the thing that happened in the 20s. And Technocracy Inc., the official institution, sort of went underground. What if those people said, "Hey, we're working on this technology where we can upload your mind, or at least reverse aging." You can choose your methodology, I suppose. And you can be, picture this, it's 1948 or something. He's all distraught. It's 2023. You're a billionaire. You're a trading mastermind because you know what's going to happen in the markets. You're a young genius. And you're able to build your own city. How would you like to do that? And then he signs the dotted line and, gives up his soul or whatever. And the story unfolds. But anyway, I just thought it was weird to have the guy's name, this exact same name as a guy who was the prime minister of a country. He's born, obviously it's a Czechoslovakian name because it says he's, the billionaire guy doing the building. That Sramek is from Czechoslovakia. So, and also just another 22 reference here. This old prime minister guy, he died April 22nd, 1956. Classic. Yep.
Classic.
Okay, so do you have any thoughts, comments on that, or should I just continue on?
I'm just coming along for the ride,
All
baby.
right, one more little dip into a little deeper of a rabbit trail. Now I've been sitting on this for a few episodes here, and I want to bring it to your attention just because it's weird. It's just weird. Egon Chakan. Ring a bell, Basil? Do you know who Egon Chakan is?
Nope, not off the top of my head.
Okay. I had no clue. I had no idea who this guy was. I mean, why would we? I don't know. So, as people know, part of the way we curate articles or, we see articles is, for me anyway, I use the Google alert system with keywords. And so the keyword CERN, the keyword NASA, all these keywords that we have for the show, I see a lot of the articles that come through the Google alerts for those terms. This one was in both CERN and NASA, which I thought was kind of crazy. Like, what is this guy? Why is both CERN and NASA together in this? And of course, it's in the headline. Egon Chakan, CERN, NASA, a few years to act. This was published on August 14th, 2023 on breakinglatest.news, which I won't get into, but I dug into this outlet and it was like, what in the world is this? It's the strangest thing. It's really weird. Like, why would it even get into my Google alerts? So it was one of those things. Now, Egon Chakan, according to his website, Earth Save Science Collaborative. Man, he's a visiting researcher at Harvard University, a retired physicist and attorney. He's a retired international tax law professional and particle physicist. Okay, he's got all kinds of credentials here. I'm not going to even read it all. You guys can read it all, but it's gnarly. Some of the highlights.
Tax law?
Yeah.
Tax law professional and physicist.
And physicist. Like,
I think that says a lot more about our tax code than it does about physics. If you gotta, it takes the same sort of caliber of person.
Yeah. Are you good at bull hockey? Yes. Yeah. Why don't you get into tax law?
Yeah, you understand quantum dynamics? Perfect. You can be what are they called? You get a tax guy.
Yeah. Well, okay. According to this article or this website here, earthsavesciencecollaborative.com, and I'll get to what this is. He served 4 standing U.S. presidents during his career and 3 standing assistant secretaries of the U.S. Treasury Department. He currently acts as a federal lobbyist on Capitol Hill and a registered foreign agent with the U.S. Department of Justice. Dr. Chakan holds like-level qualifications within the particle physics material science domain, with his name currently reflected on all 4 volumes of CERN Laboratories' Future Circular Collider Study Report. And as a young undergraduate student, while jointly employed by Hughes Tools Co., Aircraft Division, and the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, he garnered 23 world aviation records, 8 of them which still stand. The dude is accomplished, man. The guy is, I don't know, he might be an alien. In 2015, he won the MIT Hacking Medicine Challenge, which culminated in a partnership with a leading German pharma concern.
Sure. Why not?
His expertise is recognized within the international dual-use technology (surveillance) arena, and he is involved in developing VR/AR technology for national security training purposes. He has spoken on the topic of dual-use technology at Google and Facebook during 2016-17. Okay, so this guy is clearly a lot of things. I have a clip here of his hour-long talk. I clipped it down to some of the essential points here, but this is him speaking on a video and explaining why he is launching this initiative, this sort of collaborative, unified science organization.
Science community no longer has time to argue, doubt, or procrastinate. We no longer have time to write articles for the sake of citations, secure grants, earn titles, money, or influence. We no longer have time to wait for approval, permission, or support. We only have time to act now and to act all together. Therefore, I want to draw your attention to a very pressing issue that demands immediate mobilization of all the intellectual resources of humanity and collective actions. Our planet is under the influence of a severe threatening factor, a cyclical external cosmic impact that destabilizes the core of our planet. This information was first presented to us by ALLATRA over a decade ago and is now confirmed by similar activity on other planets in the solar system. They spoke about this 10 years ago, and only recently have we observed these changes on other planets. If we choose to ignore this knowledge, the world is literally doomed. To save our planet, life on it, and our future, I, Egon Chakan, literally address everyone.
Literally.
We urgently need to establish a unified international scientific center, essentially an international interdisciplinary alliance of the world's best scientists who will work on solving this problem. We need a fruitful collaboration of specialists from various fields of science, such as particle physics, magnetostratigraphy, geomechanics, and much, much more.
He listed about 50 of them, it felt like. I just cut it down to 3, but yeah. Here we go. Continue.
We need the brightest minds of this world capable of thinking unconventionally and innovatively. We need people who are ready to collaborate and to act in the interest of all humanity. For the successful and effective operation of the Unified International Scientific Center, it is critically important to ensure optimal conditions for its functioning. It is of utmost importance to provide the scientific team unrestricted access to all scientific resources and unhindered access to all observation platforms, regardless of their purpose and nature. That includes, but is not limited to, satellite systems, telescopes, seismographs, laboratories, and much, much more.
Okay, I want to pause quickly there because what he's saying right there, basically, is if you run like a private, any kind of scientific lab or anything that collects data on whatever the world, and you're not sharing it with this organization, you are against humanity. You are almost like a criminal. So
yeah,
it's crazy. It's almost like it's a transparency gone too far.
There's an interesting call that he's making to centralize all scientific information.
Right.
Not just sharing it. You know, that we've talked about the sort of data sharing networks that scientists use to like share data with one another. But he's talking about centralizing all, not just scientific data, but resources.
Everything.
Like one global science blob.
Must track all molecules on universe to assess problem.
Can we go back just like a second?
There's a little bit more.
When he was talking about some cosmic force that is destabilizing the core of every planet in this. So what in the world is he talking about? And what in the world? We just skipped right past the like doomsday scenario to talk about his bureaucratic plans for science.
Okay, wait, believe it or not, we'll go back to that. Can I let him finish? Because there's about a minute left of this clip.
Sure, yeah, the end of the world can wait.
A crucial addition to this will be ensuring full access to existing cutting-edge technologies, including but not limited to institutions such as CERN, NASA, Roscosmos, the Chinese National Space Administration, and all the others. Due to the extensive research and significant experience accumulated by the scientific team of ALLATRA, our scientific investigations will not begin from a mere blank slate, but from a substantial starting point based on the knowledge and expertise of ALLATRA scientists. The new approach to physics they proposed, which goes beyond the realm of quantum mechanics, opens necessary horizons for our entire research. The key solution to the challenges before us lies at the beyond quantum level.
Beyond quantum, Basil. Beyond quantum. All we gotta do is go beyond quantum, and all of our problems will be solved, man. Hey, he's figured it out. Egon's got it, buddy.
This guy sounds like he's playing a joke on everybody. Is this guy for real?
That's what that's why I said this is weird. I kept telling you, Basil, this is weird. It's weird. It's weird. And you're like, yeah. I'm telling you, man, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Excuse me.
No, I know. I'm exaggerating.
But I'm curious. Like, okay, so you have this one article on the guy from breakinglatest.news.
Which, again, weird. There's a weird rabbit trail with that whole thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, does he pop up anywhere else?
No, that's what I'm
into anything else?
Yeah, I was looking for anybody else that covered him or this video or whatever. Nothing. It was just this outlet, that's why I'm like, this whole thing is weird. The whole thing is bizarre.
I know. You'd have to start taking that name and checking all the university databases, just looking for this guy's history.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, man. I mean, if he's just on this one weird site and he has a video, and for those who aren't watching the video, I mean, the video seems pretty legit. It's very simple.
Yeah.
It's a very simple video. It could be one of those movies where, some highly accomplished individual figures out that there's a cosmic force that's going to blow up every planet at the same time. And he's trying to, get everybody on board, and nobody's listening to him because he's asking for the most ridiculous things I've ever heard of. And you listened to the whole hour.
I listened to most of it. Yeah, there was a few parts where I probably stopped paying attention. I was doing other things, but it was in my ear. So
I just want to know what this big baddie is.
I mean,
is it
it's not
Cthulhu? Is he preparing for the return of Jesus? Maybe he's like, there's this cosmic force. His name is Jesus, and he's going to come here. We need to get
he's going to judge us.
Need to get ready to fight this crazy spirit man or whatever.
But in the context I was saying earlier about the technocracy and how the big thing about Technocracy Inc. in the 1920s was, hey, we got to get the scientists and technocrats and all those people to make the decisions because they're the ones that know what's going on or look at the data or the best data collectors or whatever. And so in that context, it just feels like a guy trying to be a voice for that infrastructure. Like, we got to get the technocracy in place, man. All the scientists need to bow down to this organization. And again, he's setting it up like if you don't, you're going against humanity, and humanity is doomed. You will all die.
Right. Okay, so, I'm seeing. I got his LinkedIn. I'm on his LinkedIn.
Great.
I don't know.
Great.
It says he works at the White House.
That's what I was saying. Did
He's
you
a
not listen?
lobbyist, right?
Yeah, he was a lobbyist.
I'm just looking at his LinkedIn. I'm telling you what is on his LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And it does say White House, and it's you know how LinkedIn now it like links
Gives
your
you a
company.
thing. Yeah.
And the company can confirm or deny you. He has the like official badge of the White House on his LinkedIn.
Yeah. No, he's an accomplished guy. If what is on his website is accurate, then he is super accomplished. Almost too accomplished.
Very strange. You know, the one thing that bugs me a little bit about the guy is he's a lobbyist. His current thing is that he's a lobbyist.
Right.
And he's been a lobbyist. Let's see here. He's a federal lobbyist, registered federal lobbyist, registered European interest representation lobbyist.
It's almost like he's not getting traction from the back end. So he's going public with this message. Like maybe nobody bit on his science collective or whatever. And he's like, guys, make a video. I'm going to go public, go make a video, and I'll show everybody, and they'll have to listen to me because I'm CERN and NASA.
What a very strange. I will say one thing that's a red flag on his LinkedIn is every single job that he has, and he's putting so many jobs. He's a managing director at Roscosmos State Corporation for space activities. Just over and over and over.
He's the glue that holds Russia and the U.S. together. I see.
But every single job, of which there are now maybe 20, I've gone down a list. Oh, good. Limited partner at Shell Corporation.
There you go.
Okay, cool.
Drinking that oil.
But every single job that's listed says that he started on January of 18th and works there through the present. So something's messed up here. Something is messed up.
Maybe
he's an alien.
Well, I was going to say either that or like an AI, just to create the most realistic AI fake person, fake lobbyist person to try to convince everybody to unite the science.
VP Director of Government Affairs at Citibank. What? This isn't real. This is impossible.
He's at Citibank. He's at CERN. He's at NASA. He's at the White House. That's why I was saying, how have we not heard of this guy if he's all over the place? Is he truly one of these guys that just slithers around?
Be a lizard person.
I was going to say,
he would have to be like some sort of shadowy Illuminati lizard person.
Okay. Well, anyway, that was about what I thought our response would be. Is that it's a weird thing. He's kind of saying all the stuff that the elite people would say in terms of wanting a sort of unified thing, or we're going to die.
He's sort of personifying, in a way. Now that I'm looking at all of his claims of his job, which is just literally impossible now. He is also regulatory affairs advisor at the FDA, January of 2018. It's totally impossible.
He's a clone.
But it's almost like somebody created a personality to fully inhibit and represent like the archetypal sort of spirit of New World Order, technocracy, utopian madman, everything. We'll make a guy, we'll give him 40 jobs at the highest level of every single organization on Earth. And then we'll tell him that there's he will tell the world that there's a cosmic force that's threatening to destabilize the cores of all 9 planets in our solar system. I finally did find a job that he had before January 2018. And it's just kind of the same stuff. Newfield Department of Surgical Sciences at Oxford, collaborative researcher at CERN. That's nice.
Yeah, he's a CERN guy.
Researcher at NASA, collaborative researcher at the Air Force, and it just goes and goes and goes and goes. This cannot be real. This is so bizarre.
So there you go. I don't know what else to say. Let the research begin or something. He could become, maybe that's his play. He wants to be kind of the Klaus. He wants to be a target for people like us to yell and scream about.
I just don't know how it's humanly possible. He has to be some sort of time traveler to be able to.
Well, see, this is why, I was starting with the Jan Sramek thing and went kind of wacko with that because it just kind of goes together. This guy now, it just feels like all these people are vampires. I'm not saying they are, but it just feels like it. Feels like it with the way they think, the way they feel like they have absolute say in how all of us should live and how governance should operate, how institutions should work, and it's just very bizarre. Is all I'll say.
I will say this: this seems like a fake Fox site. Fox2now.com. Fox2now.com has Dr. Egon Chakan publicly addresses Joe Biden, Xi Jinping, and Vladimir Putin due to progression of climate events.
Yeah.
That is weird. Here's what I don't think he's a real guy. It's just impossible. It just doesn't make any sense. But this is a very thorough psyop. This guy, the existence of the guy. He's like a character that was invented for pure psychological operations. And hello. Okay. I'm over here at casetext.com.
I'm seeing that. Some stuff against the FBI, huh?
Chakan versus the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Civil action. Okay, if this is the same guy, Alan Egon Chakan versus Federal Bureau of Investigation, Commonwealth of Massachusetts. All right, so he's suing the FBI. Wow.
This could be a blueprint to a lot of. Remember, we saw the kids that sued the government and won because of climate. Maybe it was this guy who came up with the idea. There's no way those kids came up with it. There's no way that 5-year-old knew what was going on.
Maybe the 5-year-old is
maybe it was the 5-year-old.
Somebody's coattails, but this is weird. I'm gonna leave this tab open here because this very strange person. Oh, here we go. Here's the order of him suing the FBI. For the foregoing reasons, this action is hereby dismissed without prejudice or lack of subject matter jurisdiction. So no luck suing the FBI.
Okay. Well, it's the principle. It's maybe trying to gain some cred.
Yeah. So weird. Okay. Well, we got to keep moving. That is maybe the weirdest thing I've seen in some time. And it just kind of fits in with this entire day. And in case you didn't know, folks, it is Monday.
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
It's true. It's Monday. And now I am on Bloomberg.com.
Mm-hmm.
But is Bloomberg spelled wrong? What in the world?
The psyop is really strong right now.
Bloomberg. It's an E. Bloomberg.com. Okay. All right. So this is on Bloomberg. And it was this month. That's the weird thing. Almost everything is this month. So on Bloomberg, historic launch of the Unified International Scientific Center initiative to address climate impact on Earth. Okay, so it's the same thing you were talking about, but it is on Bloomberg. What in the world is happening here?
Nobody's talking about this, by the way. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's not like America-centric stuff, but the guy is American lobbyist. But in terms of in American politics, it's almost like a blind spot where people just don't talk about it. But
or there's like some conspiracy to ignore the fact that some sort of cosmic destruction is coming to the world, and there's nothing we can do about it. So they're just like, nobody cover this guy.
Oh, I clipped out the part. He also talks about open borders. He's big time proponent of open borders, but in the context of got to get all the good scientists to come together. Got to open up the borders to do that. I didn't include it because it would have just been too long of with many clips in there. But yeah, weird, man. Weird.
SEC.com. SEC.com. Sanctions against Egon Chakan of Santa Monica, California, an investment advisor registered with the commission. Ooh, he got in trouble with the SEC, apparently.
Oh, who doesn't, though?
That's a good point.
At this point, especially with Gary Gensler in charge. Man.
The thought plickens with this guy. This is crazy.
Like I said, let the research begin. Maybe the Canarians can be just all over this thing when nobody else was talking too much about it. Maybe, it's possible Alex Jones or someone has talked about it, because how can you not talk about it? His name must have come up in some conversation somewhere.
I mean, this is a deep psyop. This SEC action was posted in August 23rd, 1982.
The timelines are crossing.
So he did exist, apparently, in 1982. Okay, we got to keep moving. It's Monday. My brain's broken, folks. Thanks for being here to the show. My goodness. So
you want to talk real quick about what happened?
I don't know. I don't.
We can do the short.
It's worth it.
Just do the short.
The short story was that it was an incredibly hard day. And look, I get it. Other people having much harder days. I'm not saying that I am, sort of singularly experiencing a hard Monday. That is indeed what Monday is for. And according to Dr. Chakan, there's some sort of cosmic force disrupting the core of our planet. And who knows, maybe that's what's going on. I was started with the day, like trying to get stuff ready for the Burning Man research trip. And I was talked to Carl yesterday, talked to Bob, talked to the whole team, talked to, them, and made plans. They're on board with some ideas that I had. They were telling me about some of the research we're going to be doing when we get out there. Very cool. Very excited to talk about it. But it's just the whole day has been, I got to get this. Oh, it's broken. Oh, I got to go to this store. It's closed. Oh, it's this, it's that. Everything's broken. Everything's closed. Can't fix anything. Everything breaks even more. And on top of that, Gons has got stuff going on. And it's just this whole long thing, like 8 hours. Oh, and it's hot. It's like 100 degrees. There's no air conditioning in my car. Like, it's just a disaster. And so this whole thing happens. I forgot to eat, so now I'm grumpy about the whole thing. And I finally get home. We're like, okay, it'll be a little bit of a late show, but we'll figure it out. It's fine. We've done late shows. I get home, and everybody knows I have an indoor bunny. There's the outdoor bunnies. There's the indoor bunnies. And let's just say I've gotten a little lax with the indoor bunny. The indoor bunny enjoys lots of freedoms, more freedoms than I think any bunny really deserves, much less some sort of criminal bunny like this bunny, bad bunny. And what had happened was, while I was off having not a fun time, Bunny was having a wonderful time. Got into the studio, not allowed in the studio. Somehow the bunny unlocked my many deadbolts and figured out hacked the electronic code lock to get into the studio and just go absolutely bananas, eating the cords to the keyboard, eating the cords to the mixer that connected it to my computer, the headphones that I've used to make this show for like 8 years. What?
I have an emergency issue that I need to address immediately, and I will be
and now
back.
We have emergency.
I will be back, and give me 5. You're on your own for 5.
Dr. Chakan, go, man, go. It's the core of the earth is going to explode. Why do we even bother with anything? So we can put that on the list. Some emergency Gons has to go take care of. Where was I? Cords destroyed. Oh, my headphones, my precious headphones that I've been using to do this podcast for like 8 years. Chomp, 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 chomped, 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 chomped. So chomped. Everything is busted. Oh, yeah. And on top of that, I was getting the Starlink ready to go to bring it out so I could do the show live. The plan was to do the show live from out there, folks, with the Starlink. Thanks, Elon. And I've spent about 2 days trying to get it going. I finally got a response back from Elon. Elon texts me. He's like, yeah, sorry, your unit is just malfunctioned. It's just bad. We sent you a bad. It's a bad unit. So we're gonna send you a new unit. We understand that this is a priority for you, and it's very important. This is a priority for us as well. We gotta get you this Starlink, Basil. You deserve it. The world needs to hear you stream from Burning Man. So we're gonna send you a new Starlink, and it's gonna take 8 days. So good luck. Have fun. So that's a whole disaster. So pretty much in the last 48 hours, the entire, I don't know, facade, whatever sort of facade of control that I seemed to have over anything at all in my life has been just entirely sort of deconstructed. A lot of which is just completely out of my control in every conceivable way. The one thing that I have some control over is this bunny that's running around my house like a crazy person. He's free. Look, I'm cool. I'm trying to be a cool dad. Let this bunny run around, hang out with the cats. Very cute to see the cats and the bunny become friends, become business partners, go to college, everything. But I leave for one day to go have a bad day out of the house, and suddenly it's destroy Basil's entire career day, everybody. Come on down. Eat all the cords you want. Destroy all his hopes and dreams. And Elon's in on it. That's the other thing. See, I'm thinking Elon maybe chipped my bunny, a little bit of bunny control, mind control type of thing.
Neuro bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody
bunny
told
link.
me that Mercury's in Gatorade right now, so like bad things happen or whatever. But you know what? I'm reminded that every time that I've done the Burning Man research trip, there's always sort of disasters that sort of, there's resistance. Resistance comes. But it's also not just that. It's pretty much every time I have some big plans to, I don't know, just have a smooth running operation for the podcast and everything, to do something, extra or cool. Boom, hit with some sort of cosmic force that's disrupting the core of the entire operation and possibly could spread to other planets, apparently now, if we are to believe Dr. Chiclopian or whatever.
Chiclopian.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yours was very similar. You had bad stuff. Your mouse ran out of batteries.
I know. Right when we were ready to go, my mouse runs out of batteries. Yeah.
How are you supposed to bounce back from this?
Yeah. Well,
how are you gonna get your mouse to have batteries again?
Well, worse than that is the current time is not making anyone happy in my family. So
no.
This is
sure
quite the nightmare.
Making me happy.
Yeah. Well, we should carry forward.
Do stuff?
Yeah.
Let's do stuff. Let's thank some executive producers.
Executive producers.
That's right. We're on the value for value. Don't you forget. It means we take no money from corporations, comps, or cartels. Nope. The only way that this show survives, and indeed, Gons or I or our families survive, is because of the generous participation of you, dear listener, in what's called the value for value model, which means we try our hardest. We try so hard. Sometimes I question how hard we're actually trying. I don't think I've ever tried at anything as much as I try to create value through this show. I've definitely not done anything for as long as I've done this. Well, what are we on? Year 12? I can't name a single other thing I've done for 12 years. Yeah. So we try hard to make as much value as possible. Sometimes we succeed better than others. But the point is, if you get any value out of what we do, just understand that it can only continue with the participation of producers. And producers are listeners just like you who decide, you know what, I get it. The value for value model makes a lot of sense, seems biblical in a way. And yeah, why would I want a corporation to purchase my time and attention from Basil and Gons, so that suddenly my favorite podcasters are actually working on behest of the mind-controlling agents at corporations who are convincing me to spend money on stuff I don't need with money I don't have for reasons that are non-existent. Just doesn't sound right, does it? No. Well, it's the value for value model. We live and die on the participation of people in that model. And unless you are tempted to believe that this is all about money, I will tell you, you can produce the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure. You can even produce the show spiritually, by praying for us every second of the day, because it's the only way we're going to survive this. But also, you can leave us pre-show prayers, things like that. It's a whole ecosystem of people who make this show happen. It's not just Gons and I, and it's mostly Jesus Christ. And so if you would like to become a producer of the show, lots of ways to do that. One of them is to help us out financially. It is certainly an important part. And the executive producers are people who come in, they support the show for $100 or more for any one episode. They are incredibly generous and very important pieces of the puzzle that keeps this show alive. And we like to thank them here at the top. Are you ready?
Sort of, yeah.
Sort of. Okay. Well,
sorry. I'm managing some things over here.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah,
Our whole lives, Gons, are managing disasters, one disaster after another. But one person who makes the disasters a little less painful is executive producer Sir LX Protocol, V2, Night of the Berean Protocol.
Oh, thank you, Sir LX Protocol V2. That is
how exciting is that?
Helpful.
That's very exciting. Sir LX Protocol V2 Night of the Berean Protocol obviously is now on a 206 episode streak. So he's producer of so many different accolades. Yes.
Yeah, streakalicious.
But also he comes in, he supports the show for $100.33, and we appreciate him very much for that. It says, it's weird. He set such a pattern for 206 episodes in a row now. I think it was 206. And to break it with an executive producership is very interesting. And I thought, surely there's a good reason for this. Surely I'm about to read a note and learn why he took this moment to switch it up on us. No note. I did not see a note. So I don't know if we missed a note. Let us know. We would love to read a note from you, Sir LX Protocol. But everybody here is very grateful to you, and you are an important and abiding producer for this episode.
Sorry.
No worries.
Stepped all over.
And okay, unless I do a little refreshy poo and I see anybody else came in, that is our one and only brave executive producer for this episode. All things considered, Gons, shall we thank just a few more people?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. We have producers who have come in to produce the show. They go to canarycry.support. There's lots of suggestions there if you're looking for suggestions on how to support the show, or you can just pick your own number. It's a fun system. And the next producer we want to thank is producer Julie S.
Julie S. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it came in with a nice round number, so we'll keep that undisclosed. But there's a note here that said August 26th, 1973, aged 11. I gave my heart to Jesus. The sum this month reflects those years I've known God's grace in my life. Canary Cry has been and continues to be a part of that blessing and my journey. Thank you, Basil and Gons. Wow, that's very sweet. That's a very sweet note and a very cool reason to produce the show. And really an amazing life to have gotten to connect with our Lord and Savior at age 11.
Yeah.
Hey, that works out well. 1973. Where were you in 1973, Gons?
Oh, just a twinkle in my father's eye.
I was a nom.
Well, that makes a lot more sense. I think that makes more sense than anything else you've said today.
The time travel machine. You can check out. Okay, thank you very much, the producer Julie S. And congratulations.
Yeah.
Your many years of life and your many years of life with Jesus. Very impressive.
Amen.
And
thank you very much.
Thank you for your support. Next up, we've got producer Malik W. comes in. Nice round number. This is his 12th episode in a row, which is really good timing because there's some solar flares coming, Gons. And Malik might as well be walking on the sun.
Might as well be walking on the sun.
Incredible. Good timing, Malik. Thank you very much. Next up, we have this is an interesting one. I didn't know exactly how this was to be done, but I'm going to just do it. Follow my instincts. This is from producers Daphne, Lynn, Ramey, and family. I don't know if it's Daphne, Lynn, Ramey, and family, or if it's Daphne, Lynn, Ramey, and family. Whatever the case may be, thank you very much for supporting the show. It came in with 1111.
Hey, 1111. 1111. I think we'll hear again from Daphne. So.
Okay. That makes sense. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Next up, we've got producer Joel V. Joel V's back.
Hey, Joel V.
Yeah, it comes in with 1111.
1111.
1111.
We got a note here from Joel that says, producers. Oh, you got a producer jingle laying around over there?
Producers, assemble!
Producers, please pray for a child just born but not without challenge. Pray that the birth complications do not have long-term effects, that baby grows strong and healthy, and God grants the parent strength and calm during this time. Amen.
Sorry,
Amen.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Are we ending this show, Gons?
I
think we're going to be ending
I don't know.
the show, folks.
I don't know.
All right. Well, before we get off on that, producers, they're people all around the world. They're committed to praying for the show, praying about the show, praying at the show, and praying for the producers of the show especially. So we are producers around the world. Put it on your list. We're praying for a baby that was just born with some complications. But of course, we're praying that the baby grows strong and healthy and that God grants the parents strength and calm during this time. Amen. 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 Thank you very much, producer Joel.
Thank you very much.
All right, that concludes our list of financial producers who came in above $7.77. We got a few who are came in under that. We'll thank them real quick, starting with Veronica D, 299 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Veronica D.
Yeah, Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, 325.
Sir Scott Knight.
Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
There it is. Sir Casey leading the pack, 338 episodes in a row. Dame Gale, Canary Whisperer, and Lady of X's and O's, 297 in a row.
Thank you,
and
Dame
of course, last but not least, Sir Moore of Night of the Burning Chariots, 269 in a row. There you go. That's the full list today. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. It's the only way that it can continue. Value for value. When we stop creating value, people stop putting value back in and the show goes away. This is not necro-capitalism. We do not keep dead things alive for no reason, but it is kept alive with the participation of the people who get value from it. Can you imagine a system like that? I didn't think so either. Okay. So I think, Gons, there's an emergency. Is there an emergency? I'm seeing a note here.
It's pretty much, yeah. I mean, pretty much.
It's an emergency.
Yeah.
The emergencies continue. You know what? Any other day, I would say, weird.
Press on.
But today, it totally fits. This whole thing is a whole thing. we have art, we had producers, we had all sorts of stuff, but this is a literal down to the seconds emergency you're having here. Right?
Yep.
Shall we?
Yep.
Do we need to just go? We do. Holy smokes, folks. What an exciting Monday this has been. Pray for us. Pray for Gons. Pray for me. Pray for all the emergencies that continue to show up. And, of course, pray for the producers. They're the only reason we can keep doing this. I'm going to skip a whole bunch of the stuff we usually do and just say, hey, thanks a bunch. If we if you sent something in, art, if you sent in microfictions, if you sent in whatever.
SpeakPipe. We're going to be doing just pretty much SpeakPipe and producers the whole show on Wednesday.
No, don't say that.
Well, we got a lot to catch up on. But that's not a bad thing.
To catch up on.
Yeah.
Gons, it's not a bad thing for you. Somebody who does not appreciate the producer segments will probably not tune into that one. Okay. So we'll continue to be doing shows. This week is going to be a very interesting week, folks. But you'll be hearing a lot from me. I'll be sending stuff in from Burning Man. We'll be talking to Carl Teichribb. We'll be talking to all sorts of people, and you will be hearing it, and you will love it. Produce the show if you can. That would really mean a lot to us because the future is uncertain. And other than that, I think thanks for tuning in to this strange, tiny episode of Canary Cry News Talk. And make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.